The Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency is still raising the alarm that rivers Niger and Benue have reached the red mark due to devastating floods ravaging parts of the country. And the agency is warning Nigerians to take extreme caution. Let's speak with It-Agbanusi, who is the former president of the Nigerian Environmental Society, on what the citizens and government should be doing now to prevent another flood. Thank you very much, Dr. Uche, for joining us on Newsnight.
Thank you very much.
Well, we'll get this warning yearly, about Lagdo Dam, the release of water from there, and that, inflates the water level on rivers Niger and Benue and the rest. But it's like the mitigating effect to checkmate the floods and its, devastating effects are usually not adhered to at all.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to say that this is not something of today. We've had such experiences, but in 2012, and the worst one came up in 2022. And up till now, we are still lamenting, and many people have not recovered from what they experienced within that period. A lot of losses were recorded, both lives and property. But the question is this: must we continue in this rigmarole? Must we continue in this form? Continue to tell stories of how the flood will come? Does it mean that we don't have the capacity to begin to do something reasonable? Of course. Must we rely on another nation because of because of the disaster that will come to us? Can't we check something within our own territory?
Well, those are 1,001 questions you've asked. As an expert in this area, you're a town planner, you're a public policy expert and analyst, environmentalist, and the rest. What are some of the near permanent solutions?
Well, the best engineering approach to it, because I believe that there must be an engineering approach to this, the best of it is what we call check dams. We can construct check dams between River Benue and River Niger. In Nigerian territory, we don't need to go to beg people. We don't need to go and tell Cameroon, let any water come. We can check it within our own territory. And information reaching us revealed that proposals have been made for all these check dams, retention dams, earth dams to take care of all these overflows. But what has happened to it? When I asked this question, someone said, because of bureaucracy. And I begin to ask, can we now begin to risk the lives of the people living along and beyond the Benue River basins? Must we continue to risk them? If you see the way the flood comes, the way it swallows the houses, and how many lives that are lost in one season. So every season, we will be ready to be losing such lives. Can't we do something very positive? I think this is an emergency. This is a disaster that must be taken seriously by the federal government of Nigeria. I always say that
it is indeed a disaster, but there are, you've suggested an engineering approach which the Cameroonian Authority, together with the Nigerian government, almost 60 years ago or thereabout, or about, let me say, 45 years ago, when Lagdo Dam was being built, that they should have a retaining dams too in Nigeria, maybe from Adamawa, Taraba, Benue, and the rest down to the Niger basin.
Yes.
But they've not done so, and yet you say have this policy materials domiciled in key ministries of the country where the dams could have been built.
So the question is this: why this domiciliation you talked about? Why? What are they doing? All those ministries, what are they doing? Why can't they do something positive? Even if there is no fund or funding for this, we can start something. But nothing. I can see nothing. Nothing at all. So whenever we are living at the mercy of Cameroonian Lagdo Dam management, why can't we do something? The other time I was talking somewhere and I said, this is a challenge to our engineers. It is not enough to say that I'm an engineer. Let's do engineering. An engineer is supposed to be a solution provider in the society. That is what an engineer means. An engineer is supposed to be some. In fact, there must be serious agitation from engineering groups, their organizations. They're supposed to be the pressure group that will make the federal government to do something about it. I always say that this is River Benue issue. It's a federal government concern. It is not state. It is a federal government concern, and the federal government should take responsibility in doing something about it. We cannot just continue to do all this. We go forward, come back, 10 steps backward, then we move 2 steps forward. It's not real. It's not good.
What is the place of the Ministry of Water Resources here?
Well, the place of Ministry of Water Resources is that they are in charge of water resources in the country. Yes. Okay? But they have limitations because they are under government. Is it not? The federal government is responsible. The ministry is just a part of the federal government. So if they have ministry that can do something like that, such ministry may not be able to tell the federal government, because I heard that they have made proposals. And someone can stay somewhere and tell you, my friend, there is no budget for this. Okay, even if you have made budget, there is no money for it. And the minister cannot go and attack the person that appointed him. The civil servant cannot, otherwise you will be sacked. But where I'm hinging, the pressure group should come from, the pressure should come from a pressure group, which is engineering department. And when you are going to present this, show us the designs you have made. I just mentioned check dam. That is the best engineering measure we can take to control such flood. Yes. So what are we talking about? The other time I mentioned, I said, brandishing certificate does not make any meaning to me until I see what you are doing with such certificates. It's not right for you to just sit down, we're just waiting. Are we waiting for who to come and do it for us? We must do something. Let us do something. Well, let's start doing it even now.
How about you're a town planner, you're a planner as you address yourselves, What is the place of, the emergency management in this country? Because what the Hydrological Services Agency has done is that, hey, look, there is an emergency at hand already. Yeah. What kind of measures have been put in place, even from your own society, where you were formerly you're a former president? Yeah,
we have been advocating. Ours, we are just a non-governmental organization, and we are putting our own pressures as much as we can, even to the government people. But the people that are responsible for this is just squarely on the shoulders of the government. The federal government has to do something. Like I said, we have made investigations and we discovered that they have made proposals. But someone just put the proposals aside. And you are waiting for every year we will tell stories, every year we will lose lives, every year we lose properties, and we will come back and wait for another year. Sometimes I ask, is it the way to check overpopulation? That's my question of Nigeria. Maybe because, I don't know. Why should we continue to do this? And we're going to do it for how long? It is absurd for someone to just sit down and continue to believe that somebody from somewhere will come and help you to check the problems around you within your own territory. How are we doing this kind of a thing? It doesn't show us as a leader of nations in Africa.
Just like the...
We are big brothers in Africa. Nigeria is a big nation. We can do something. We can do something positive. We can't continue like this and begin to tell stories every year. Every year. We're talking about flooding, over 20-something years now. And we're still telling stories. Does it mean that the federal government is not listening to us? Does it mean that we don't have funding for it? I think even if we don't have, we can even ask for foreign aid to do that. Yeah? They can help us, yes.
A big brother that you want to turn to.
Of course, of course.
Okay, thanks so very much. Dr. It-Agbanusi is a public policy expert and analyst and former president of the Nigerian Environmental Society. Thanks for coming to share some light on the impending flood.